Thanks for joining us for another Tantrum House crowdfunding conniption. Today we're taking a look at several new games that are coming to Kickstarter as part of the 18 Hex campaign.
Before we jump in, we want to make sure that you know that our crowdfunded videos are sponsored in part by our own Kickstarter backers, as well as by the creators of this game. Hey gang, thanks for joining us at Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows. Today we're taking a look at the 18 Hex Games collection coming from LittleHouse BoardGames, which is coming back to Kickstarter soon. These are 15-minute filler games that are all built using only 18 hex tiles.
Yeah, they come in all the same sizes and shapes, but they're wrapped in entirely different themes. They follow different rule sets, and they're designed to be played by different player counts. We're going to run through all of them real quick so that you can get a feel for what they look like out on the table, and then we're going to talk about a couple of them at the end to go a little bit more in depth. But let's go ahead and take a look right now.
The campaign will feature at least 6 different games, including Pantheon, Hextremadura, ISO, Flip A, Yin Yang, and Q Memory.
In Pantheon, 2 players will face off trying to settle, for once and for all, whether the Greek or the Roman gods were mightier. In this game, the coin is tossed to determine initial setup for the game, and then players take turns revealing and playing a tile with their side up.
They may use the action shown on their tile to do things like flip, swap, or remove tiles. After the last tile is played, they will tally their score to see who had more power and won the game.
Hextremadura is a 1-player puzzle game that takes about 15 minutes to play through.
You'll shuffle the stack of tiles and then build out your map on the edges of the Duero River by selecting to play either the available tile or the top tile from the stack.
Each time that you're able to place a tile and achieve the requirements shown on it, you'll get to keep that tile for the second phase of the game.
Once the stack is exhausted, the tiles you claimed are flipped over, revealing new goals for you to try and achieve during this second phase.
Each time you achieve a goal during the second half of the game, you'll keep that tile and use it for final scoring at the end of the game.
Next up is ISO, and this one is a tile placement game for 1 to 3 players. We will be trying to build patterns in order to score stars.
3 scoring objectives will be placed out on the table, and then players will take turns drawing tiles and adding them to the configuration. If a player is able to satisfy the requirements of one of the scoring objectives on any of the visual planes in the game, using the tile that they just placed, they get to claim the tile and a new score tile is revealed.
Once all of the tiles are placed, the player with the most stars wins.
Flippa is a quick word-building party game for 1 to 8 players, where all the tiles are placed out on the table at the start of the game.
Then, players will take turns trying to make the longest word possible using adjacent tiles.
They will score a point for each letter they use, and after claiming their word, they will flip all of the tiles that they used over before the next player's turn.
Once one player has reached 20 points, they finish the round and the player with the most points wins.
We've got 2 more games to go. The first is Q Memory. It's kind of like Simon meets Memory meets...
Either way, it's designed for 1 to 6 players, and it has a couple of different difficulty levels. And in the game, you are building quantum links so that your turn, when you reveal your first tile, as long as the next tile you reveal has something in common with the previous tile, you keep going.
So, if my first tile is red, and my second tile is red, great. My next tile is also hollow, so I keep going. My next tile is green, good, but purple and black don't match in any way, so now it's the next player's turn.
All the tiles are flipped face down, and then if a player is able to flip all of the tiles over on their turn, they win.
And the final game in the lineup today is called Yin Yang. It's a 2-player game that involves bidding and area control.
After you follow the setup instructions, on your turn, you will select a tile of your color, either black or white, and then you can either flip a number of adjacent tiles based on the pure value shown on your tile, 1, 2, or 3.
Or you can choose a type of tile, water, fire, etc., and flip all the tiles of that type.
At the end of your turn, you can place a bet by taking 1 tile off the table. At the end of the game, if you have control of the majority of that type of tile, you'll score the number of points shown on the tile.
After 6 rounds, players will score a point for each type of tile that they control the majority in, and points for bets will be awarded as well, and then the player with the most points wins.
Now, there's actually a lot more going on in Yin and Yang than what we described because it is possible to kind of checkmate your opponent. And then there's rules about how after you place a bet, you can't flip over that type of tile on your next turn. So there's a lot of strategy and mathing that kind of goes on in that game.
Yeah, and that's actually really true about all the games that we've talked about. There are a lot of additional rules and complexities in them. They are referring to them as filler games on the campaign, but really there's a lot of different difficulty levels in the game. There's a lot of different modes of play in the instruction manual. So like what we showed you is the lightest, fastest, quickest version of the game. However, most of them have, if you have, they have a 1-player variant, or they have if you have this many players. So for being quick and small box games, there's actually a surprising amount of depth to most of the games in there.
Yeah, the cube memory game sounded like it was going to be really easy. You're just flipping over tiles, but then there were enough out there that you really did have to pay attention, and it went surprisingly longer than I thought it was going to, because is the person going to remember what you think should be next, but really you don't have to go in the same order. So there was a lot going on.
It felt like the type of game where it was going to be, I flip this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then if I mess up, you're going to do the exact same thing. However, in that game, the strategy was like, remember a different pattern kind of than the other person, so that you might have done this, and I do it a totally different way. By the time it gets to the third person, do they even remember what's going on? There was a lot to just chew on in that one, which was surprising. And then as it got down to the end and we were getting closer, it was like, oh, if she messes up this one tile, I totally got this. I figured it out, whatever.
If you enjoy lighter weight games that are easy to learn and teach, and if you've got room on your shelves for some new filler games, you might want to check out this 18 Hex campaign on Kickstarter.
Yeah, we had an opportunity actually to play a number of these a couple years back when they were just being developed, and so it's pretty neat to see them taking shape and to see more of the games on the shelf. I'm not sure if it was just the shape of the boxes, but these were memorable gaming experiences from the past that we got to kind of relive when we pulled out this campaign. So if that is interesting to you, if you like this shape or style of game, if you have any questions about the games, let us know. We always love interacting with you guys in the comments. We'd love to answer questions and give you more details on the games if you're interested, but you should definitely check out their Kickstarter campaign, find out what else is on there. There might be additional games. I don't even know, but like I said, check it out. Thanks for checking us out. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys in the next one.